Hi guys, in this video I wanted to walk you through how to replace a light fixture on the inside or the outside of your house. I'm going to be replacing the two wall sconces on either side of my garage outside with these two new modern looking wall sconces, and these two are more consistent with the style, the modern design that I currently have on the exterior of my house. So let's go take a look at the current wall sconces, and then we'll start walking through step by step what we need to do to get these bad boys in place. All right, so I'm outside getting ready for the installation, and I had to put my shades on because this new lighting is gonna be so bright. Just kidding, but seriously, upgrading the lighting system around your house inside and outside is one of the smartest ways and cheapest and easiest, which I'll show you, one of the best ways to give your house a facelift and a modern look. Now let's talk about what we need for a basic light swap. I've done a couple dozen of these and they're relatively straightforward. You might need a drill and a screwdriver. It's possible that you would need some pliers if something's really stuck, but a drill should be your main tool. And of course we got a ladder set up right here depending on the height of the light or how tall you are. So that's about all we need to get started. Let's go take a look at these wall sconces and then get the project going. Now let's take a look at the wall sconces. This is actually a pretty nice wall sconce, but it's getting older. It's actually an LED, which is nice. This side still works, and this side over here decided to not work anymore. So in my attempt to modernize the house, we are going to install new wall sconces that give the house and the home an upgraded look. Now the first step with anything electrical is to kill the power at the breaker box, or at least to make sure that the light switch is off so you don't electrocute yourself. Might be a good idea to wear gloves or protective eyewear. But after that, the next step is to unscrew these bolts, which is holding the wall sconce or pretty much any light fixture set up in the same way. There's going to have bolts. There might be multiple layers that are snapped into each other or screwed into each other, but this is going to be our first step in unscrewing these bolts, and then we can start to pull it away and disconnect the wiring. All right, we got the wall sconce down. Let's take a look at the wiring before we start to disconnect. This is the cold, typically, the white, the hot, the black, and then we have a ground, a copper ground, and that's gonna typically be screwed into a green little screw that is part of the, in this case it's painted over, but yeah, part of the connection here. So on these, we're just gonna do lefty-loosey to uncouple them. And again, double check to make sure that the power is off because these are live wires under here. And then we can just pop the new sconce into place and potentially look at adjusting the connection here and see if it lines up perfectly. Typically, these are pretty universal, so you can oftentimes leave the old one in, or you can unscrew here and here, pop the old one out, and then put the new bracket in place. So I'm gonna go ahead and take the wiring apart right now, pull this sconce down, and then we'll take a look at how to install the new one. All right, we got one down. I'm gonna go ahead and do the other side over here, and then we can get the new sconces in place. Now I mentioned these brackets are generally universal, but if I go to put the new sconce in place, it is about 1 millimeter off. You see that I can't get the one screw. You can see it in there, but I can't get the one screw through on both sides. So we're gonna upgrade the bracket because it is about 1 millimeter off. All right, to remove the bracket, this is where our drill is gonna come into play. There is a screw here that we need to loosen, and then back behind here on either side there's a screw that we need to take off so that the bracket can pop off. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, that should make it loose enough so we can do that. Okay, so now we can access these screws here in the back. And of course that one's stripped. That one came out really easily, and now I'll have to work on getting this one off. So I will do that, and then we will be back with the new bracket. All right, here's the new bracket, and you'll notice that on some of these more modern junction boxes, you'll see 1, 2, 3, 4 different holes because of the varying sizes of the brackets as we talked about. So I'm gonna go ahead and line up the existing screws that we just pulled out and put one on either side on the far end, and then it'll come together like this, and then I can tighten these screws in the middle, and then we can pop that sconce on. Now with this new sconce, there is a light bulb on the top and the bottom. So that means 2 sets of wires. So we have 2 black and 2 white, and it's really no different. We're just gonna be connecting 2 black wires to 1 black wire, and then 2 white wires to 1 white wire. So once we get the bracket set up, we can pop this sconce into place. I'll show you how to connect all the wiring right now. First thing we want to do on the wiring is get the copper ground connected to this little green screw. And then once that's connected, then we can pop this into place and then make it tight so that this will have no wiggle on the sconce, and we can screw everything back into place. All the wiring is hooked up, and I went inside to flip the light switch real quick just to make sure that it is working. And we have light bulbs on either side, which is always a good sign. So now we can pop the sconce into place, tighten up the bolts, and then move on to our second one, and then we'll be done. Both wall sconces are up and in place. Here's the left one and then the right one over here. Obviously it is daytime right now, but I want to come back when it is night and see how they illuminate either side of the garage. So I'll be back in a few hours when the sun sets. So I'm back outside, the sun is coming down. I just flipped on the lights. Let's take a look at how these new lights on either side of the garage came out. I'm personally pretty excited about it, and I hope that you guys can do the same in replicating that modern touch on your house. So there we have it, the lighting job is done. I'm super happy with it. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you can give me a like on the video, I would greatly appreciate it. Until the next DIY project, we'll see you later.